This is a very busy stretch for Rutgers. Of course, playing every weekend. Had 2 midweeks this past week at a top 20 North Carolina team. 2 midweeks this week to get ready for a high-quality UConn program. Matt Shepard in the box for Ryder, and the first pitch is in there. It's the heater from Falco as we get underway at 3:03 here on the East Coast. I see Shepard struggling so far. This is a pretty balanced lineup for Ryder with righties and lefties. That's punched off to the right side. And Trevor Cohen comes sauntering in and makes the play. There's one gone. A Rutgers team that prides itself on defense and has some of the best defenders in the Big Ten. Overall, Rutgers ranking 5th in the conference in fielding percentage, .973. And with one quickly erased, here's Matt Leahy, shortstop. And again, Falco starts fastball, 0-1.
Jordan Falco has got the profile that you like. 6'6", 215, high three-quarters slot. Throws a lot of strikes, 89 to 92. And with a slider that he has, closer as a freshman at Adelphi, very, very good Division II Northeast 10 program on Long Island. Last year he became a starter, so he's comfortable in any role. And that's what I think made him attractive to Steve Owens in the transfer portal.
This is in foul ground, and a tough play on a very windy day, but the Big Ten Freshman of the Week, Ty Doucette, is there. And 2 quick outs for Jordan Falco. I should mention the weather doesn't feel like the first day of spring. It's 46 degrees, cloudy and windy, and that wind generally pushing out to left field, 15 to 25 miles an hour. And you get a good look at that. If you're a pitcher, you need to stay down in the zone today.
And Falco's kind of the perfect guy because he's got a slider that has pretty good tilt, 80 to 82, changeup at 85 miles an hour, looked good in the fall against Vanderbilt. So he got his feet wet very well ahead of this season. So I project that Jordan Falco is going to be a factor for Rutgers on Big Ten weekends. This is not just a guy that is a midweek starter.
Pitched last week, started last week in one of the 2 games against North Carolina. As one of the few real veterans on this Ryder team, Luke Lesh swings through it. Taking a look at the Rutgers defense, that'll be busy today behind Falco. The Ryder transfer, Johnny Volpe in left field, we'll talk a ton about him today. His old teammate Lesh at the plate. He is the one guy in this lineup batting better than 300.
Yeah, he's the lone guy that right now Dr. Barry Davis in his remarkable 20th year. What a fine gentleman he is. Talk more about him. But they're looking for leadership from Lesh in addition to production because of how young Ryder is. And they start league play coming up this weekend against Quinnipiac. So it's a little bit on the early side for Ryder. But they absolutely need Lesh to have the best season, the best year of his life, because he has to help raise everybody that's young around him.
Tried to check, could not. Keith Segedis, the home plate umpire, says Lesh did offer, and so it's a full count. Carlos Dino, the first base ump, Freddie DeJesus at second, and Tom Gandolfo over at third. Here comes a payoff pitch from Falco. And it's punched foul, so we'll try it again. Yeah, Lesh, a grad student, product of Gloucester Township, New Jersey, and Gloucester Catholic High. Like Johnny Volpe, was on the MAC All-Tournament team last year as Ryder did it all. Won the MAC championship for the 2nd time in 3 seasons. The pitch. That's fouled straight back. Fastball that time from Falco.
And Ryder's been a very good program. The 2-13, I think, is probably not indicative of to the quality that they are, because one of their wins is against Duke that we'll talk about. They were just swept over the weekend at St. John's. 2 of the games were they were within reach.
Now Lesh is handling this at-bat like you'd expect a 5th-year senior to, just fighting off some pitches here so his young guys can get a look at Falco. And you mentioned it though, Ralph. For a team that's 2-13, you don't expect one of those 2 wins to be against a national caliber program like the Blue Devils.
Yep, and of course to do it on the road, to do it the manner that they did it, that's why I think they have to be treated like a better program than that.
And Lesh wins the battle. As ball 4 ends up in the backstop, and Lesh is aboard with a 2-out walk.
Yeah, terrific at bat by Luke Lesh, not just in the context of this game, but also showing his very young teammates. Barry Davis this year, they have had as many as 7 freshmen and sophomores consistently start among their everyday 9 players, and those sophomores barely played last year. And then transfers like Costanzo here, who's up from Division III Widener, who's making a major adjustment.
Yeah, up and down so far for Costanzo, who's DHing today. Though he is up with a 2-out base runner, and that time Falco starts with the off-speed to get ahead. And Costanzo, 4 total extra base hits, on base percentage near 400. Lesh not a runner, just a step lead at first. And it's 1-1. Now, you saw the overall numbers on Falco, making his 5th appearance in a Rutgers uniform. Was really good in his first Rutgers home start. 1 unearned run in 4 innings of work against Wagner. That one just missed inside. It was a heater that time. It does allow Costanzo to get ahead, 2 balls and a strike. I see Falco having that quick conversation with Keith Seghetti. Where was that pitch? That one's fouled back. Falco this far in 11 innings has just as many strikeouts. And again, an opportunity to get a punch out to end the top of the first. Here's the 2-2. And left it outside.
You know, one thing about Costanzo, there's very little that's Division III about him. 6'4", 225, Division III All-American last year at Widener in Pennsylvania. Hit 351, 21 homers, 80 RBI over 2 seasons. So he looks the part. His production also followed. And as Steve Owens has found, you don't find that necessarily. Remember Garrett O'Callahan 2 years ago as a grad transfer from Ithaca Dom. Also kind of looked like a guy that, you know, when he was 22, he looked the part of a Division I guy, was able to play a role in that 22 Rutgers team. But I feel like Costanzo, he was missed on by local Division I coaches, assuming he didn't have any D1 offers out of school.
Another payoff, and this is tapped over to second. Cam Love stationed there, and it is the end of the top of the first. So a couple of the Rider veterans make Jordan Falco work a little bit, but he polishes off a scoreless first, and we have tons to talk about when we come back because the Rutgers offense will be at the plate for the first time this afternoon. Clayton Poley, though, just shoved at Duke. 8 scoreless, 8 punch-outs in the win. And R.J. Johnson Jr. is the first batter that Poley will face as strike 1.
Yeah, that start, Dom, it was exactly a week ago, as I'll detail it. But this is an interesting pitcher. And from the perspective of, he just got in the zone, talking to Barry Davis about him. You know, he's about 180 pounds, but he had very short innings, about 15 pitch averages, no jams. Fastball, changeup, and the cutter. His cutter's movement was key. And one of those days is Poley gets a strike there on Johnson, 1 and 2, where he got into a roll after 3 innings and just kept going. Before you knew it, it was the 6th. They were thinking maybe 80 pitch maximum. He goes 107 pitches, and he's Matt Harvey saying, no, keep me in for the 9th.
Unfortunately worked out for Ryder. Only had 2 runs given up there in the 9th and had plenty to spare, winning 6-2. Now, he was great, and Rutgers this past weekend was outrageous at the plate. Some football numbers against the Blue Hen pitchers as Johnson fouls it off. That's going to stay in foul territory. It's playable, and the first baseman, Lesh, is there for the first out. That wind's keeping that ball in play. And so Johnson, a near 300 hitter, transfer from the junior college ranks, is retired. We should mention, too, this is a Rider defense that has handled itself very well so far this year. Leads their conference, leads the MAC in fielding percentage, 976, and so contending with that Rutgers defense, Ryder will be an equal match. And now Trevor Cohen at the plate, and the sophomore takes a big breaker for strike one. Now Rutgers in 3 games at Udell scored 56 runs on 64 hits. That's MLB The Show stuff. That's 1-1. Now 2 games with 20-plus hits. Saturday really was a football score. 27-13 was the final. The only question is whether somebody missed an extra point or whether it was 2 field goals. Really.
Yeah, and I think Steve Owens and pitching coach Brendan Monahan they're not thinking about the 27 they scored, but the 13 they allowed to Delaware. The staff ERA, 5.87 so far for the Scarlet Knights. They know that they have to get better with that. They're giving up over a hit an inning.
And this is poked into the alley, and it's going to get down for a base hit, cut off by Kyle Neareye. And it's a 1-out single for Trevor Cohen, who's hitting near 400 this season after a high-quality freshman season last year.
Well, big keys today for Ryder. It's expected to be a staff day, but they have walked a ton of batters to this point. Most headlines by their sweep at the hands of St. John's. St. John's has now won 10 straight. Yeah. But as a program that's gotten better and a bounce back. But throwing and getting strike one, they cannot fear these Rutgers hitters despite what the numbers are. Walks per innings so far, they're 8th from the bottom as a staff is Ryder, 2.36 walks and hits per inning. So they're in constant jams, and that is with a terrific start from Poli against Duke factored in.
Now Poli is ahead on Tony Santamaria, and a worthy check on Trevor Cohen, who swiped 3 bases already. Rutgers stealing more than 2 bags per game. And another check.
And within that, I think the tone that Clayton Poli can set here, over 3 games at St. John's this weekend in Queens, Ryder pitching walked 32 batters. That's just astonishing. Getting strike one is more important for this staff today than any other because they have to learn.
There goes Cohen, pitches a ball to throw to second, not in time. And a stolen base for Trevor Cohen, guy who has got all the tools athletically. Always talk a ton about how he was a 3-year starter at quarterback in high school as well, and after a solid season last year as a freshman, one in which he earned Big Ten All-Freshman honors, he has really turned in a complete sophomore performance so far. Santa Maria having a whale of a season. Leads the Big Ten in home runs with 7. Been on base every game so far. Rutgers has played 19. And now trying to bring in Cohen to give Rutgers its first run of the day. And that is foul, just wide of third.
Yeah, when I sat down and started doing research on Rutgers, I was blown away at the seasons Kuroda Grauer and Santa Maria are having. I expected them to be very good, just not to these kinds of incredible numbers. Tony and Kuroda Grauer are having first-team All-Big Ten seasons.
I think it's safe to say that if the season ended today, and of course we are only a month in, almost to the day, to this college baseball season, Rutgers would have a few guys in the Big Ten Player of the Year conversation, and frankly, we'll talk about his numbers in a sec. Josh Kuroda Grauer probably is the front runner for that conversation with the numbers he's put up. Now Clayton Poli is ahead. Can he put away Santa Maria? No, this is bounced to short, and it's by Leahy. Cohen waited because he expected that to be fielded. And Tony Santamaria is aboard to give Rutgers a pair of base runners for the nation's leader in hits, Josh Kuroda Grauer.
Yeah, this has been Rutgers baseball this year. 2 quality at-bats, stolen base, single, and yet another potential big inning mushrooming. And with Kuroda Grauer coming to the plate, you have to get ahead of their hitters and get them into defensive counts. And that goes for midweek pitching, freshmen out of the bullpen that are getting staff days, even if you have top-notch stuff.
Kuroda Grauer swinging at the first pitch, and that's a fair ball. It clipped off of Cohen, says Winsett. He scores. Josh Kuroda Grauer into second. Oh, we'll need another look at that. Wonky play at third. Jack Winsett was trying to play it while Cohen shielded him, and then as the ball kicked away, Winsett turned around and pointed right at Cohen, as if to say it hit him. Look for the carom here by the bag.
I don't think it hit him. Winsett is maintaining that perhaps the runner got in his way, but the runner is in foul territory. So it's just an illusion. It's a very difficult call against Winsett, but it is the right one.
Now, doubles of all kinds this year for Kuroda Grauer, who's got 11 of them now. Top 5 in the Big Ten in that department. That collects his 26th RBI, and when it's going good, it's going great for this Rutgers offense. And now Pete DeRocher at the plate, the DH today, with 2 more guys in scoring position. And Poli falls behind, 2-0.
Yeah, and this is the problem for Poli here. You're just a sophomore. Last year he pitched very well out of the bullpen on a good team, but you have to attack these hitters, whoever they are. And
DeRocher cranks this down the line, near eye to the corner. Will it stay fair? No. That wind pushing out to left field and maybe a little right to left as well, and so DeRocher a little too early on it. A couple feet shy of what would have been his first Rutgers home run.
Now let's see if Poli challenges him with a fastball somewhere around the strike zone, but not down the middle after DeRocher's eyes just got big. Hey.
Instead wastes the breaking ball.
Yeah, he went to the cutter outside, and that's a good eye. That's from a senior there. And DeRocher has a little bit of history transferring from the MAC, so he's seen some of these rider pitchers that you'll see today.
Yep, 3-year starter at Manhattan. 2-time All-MAC honoree. And this is popped up. It's going to get out of play. Lands in the seats behind home plate. Poli is back in it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Trying to make sure that this bottom of the first doesn't cave on him. An infield single that could have easily been an out, and then a double that easily could have been an out as well for Rutgers in his bottom of the first. And DeRocher starts the hands. Did he go? No, on appeal. And now the bases are loaded.
Yeah, for Clayton Poli, he knows he's pitching this weekend in MAC. This is a tough choice here for Barry Davis, head coach of Rider. You want to get him work because he hasn't pitched in a week and because he threw 107 pitches in that terrific 8-inning start and the win at Duke. But you have to have your bullpen ready here because there's a scenario here where he might pitch too much, and then that affects you and him for this weekend if he throws, let's say, Sunday against Quinnipiac.
Big Ten Freshman of the Year, Ty Doucette fouls off the first pitch. I should mention Poli just threw his 22nd pitch. And Doucette, product of Nova Scotia up in Canada, making his home debut in a Rutgers uniform. And boy, what a weekend he had at Delaware. Give you the numbers after the 0-1. Now this is poked through the right side. It's a base hit, and it keeps on going for Doucette. He plates 2. The throw is cut off. A check over at third, and DeRocher is in there safely. Add 2 more RBI to tie Doucette's tally, and Rutgers posts a big number in the first.
Death by 100 cuts is what this Rutgers offense in 2024 has been doing. Key there, it's not over swinging. I think it was a low fastball from Poli. And you look at all the hitters Rutgers has put up, you notice they're not getting themselves out.
Ty Doucette hit .727 at Delaware, and he's on is now former Ryder Bronc Johnny Volpe tries to clobber a 3-run home run on the first pitch he sees from his old team. Volpe, a Jersey guy, product of Wall. Really good player at Ryder who played for the Bronx against Rutgers on this field a season ago. And now in the odd situation of facing his old program. Pitch from Poli, and that's fouled off the other way now, so quickly a 2-strike hole.
Yeah, second on the team last year, Ryder in hitting at 298, 34 RBI, had a very good career, 19 steals. There's a reason why Rutgers went after him once he decided the grad transfer. Played second short, a little bit of center field too.
2-strike pitch. And it's put in the air and foul. It curls off the first base side.
Yeah, I asked Dr. Barry Davis about his former player, and he loved having him. A real gamer, at times carried Ryder last year, and a true tone setter because he was their leadoff batter generally in his career. And someone that wants to be up in big spots. This is one.
And again, lofted into foul territory. Lesh has a chance at it and makes the grab. And there are 2 outs. And Volpe, one of a few Broncs on the MAC All-Tournament team last year, like Lesh. As the Broncs got the job done, finished 36-21 for their 3rd consecutive winning season. And now with Clayton Poli's pitch count at 28, a visit to the mound, and I think this is going to be it for Poli.
Only throws about 84 miles an hour. Key for him, first pitch strikes to get you off balance. And he needs multiple innings today.
The first batter he faces, the freshman Jackson Natilli. And before that, he chases back Taidu Set at first.
And the problem with Aiello, when he falls behind, people are tattooing him. Batting average against 343 against, 13 walks over 17 2/3. So the most significant pitch is the one we're about to watch because it sets everything else up.
Jack Natilli in the midst of a strong freshman season. Rutgers has not shielded him. 267 hitter, and you mentioned it, is ahead, a ball and no strikes. Rutgers, before Volpe popped out, had 5 straight guys get on base, including the RBI double from Josh Kuroda Grauer, and then Taidu Set with 2 more RBI as he brought in those guys on the single. 14 ribbies for the other Rutgers freshman who's a regular in the lineup. 1-1. Cut and a miss.
Nice pitch. Yeah, you could see as a left-hander, Christian Aiello has talent, only a sophomore. But if he falls behind in counts, he's too hittable. So he has to do everything to avoid that. Then he's a serviceable Division I pitcher. If he's behind counts, then it's way too easy, and it affects the entire team because then there's short outings.
Now, does Aiello have a put away here? Does have 18 strikeouts and 17 2/3 innings so far. And left that way upstairs. Natilli trying to continue the hit parade. And instead puts another one in the sky. Foul ground off to the right. Luke Lesh has been busy and makes a somersaulting catch. Nice acrobatic play. And ends the first inning. And giving its pitchers tons of comfort room, and that's the case for Jordan Falco. Allowed a 2-out base runner on a walk in his first inning of work. And now it's 5, 6, and 7 for Ryder, starting with Eric Hartman. And behind 0-1. Pitch from Falco. And left that outside. It's a ball and a strike. Falco got the start in one of the 2 games against North Carolina, a team that's once again in the top 20 of all the college baseball rankings and games in which Rutgers had opportunities. Tough play for Love. He makes them all look easy like that. One away.
Oh, that is fantastic. Ball was not hit all that hard, but Cameron Love had to run a very long way. Very curious on the replay to see how far towards the middle of the diamond Cameron Love was shading there. But that is not easy, and a major credit to him. Yeah, he's about usual spot, but look at how far on the grass he has to go, and then not to panic. He probably had a little bit more time than he thought, but to still whirl and throw like that, fantastic.
Good slider to get ahead on Kyle Neary now. Strike one. As Rutgers defense, especially in the infield, has prided itself on getting to everything, but Cam Love, so successful at second base defensively. What a luxury it is for a pitcher to know the bats have produced the way they have, and then you've got a defense that can cover basically every inch of turf out there. Neary, one of the 3 freshmen in the starting lineup today for the Bronx, as that's fouled off. So it stays no balls and 2 strikes.
Had a tough break for Ryder when you look at it again. When you're hitting 196 as a team, they hit better against St. John's, but the problem was that their pitching got pounded as they lost 2 very high-scoring games. The first game on Friday was 19-3 against them, so some signs of hope.
Good eye by Neary, and stays away from that one to make it 1-2. Yeah, St. John's has had a nice start to the season. Another non-conference midweek opponent Rutgers has later on this year. Yeah,
and I think that's important for these programs because, frankly, on the midweek, as it's been for so long, it's been
jammed him and chopped it over to short. Josh Kuroda Grauer has it and flashes the arm. A couple of groundouts for Falco to start his second.
And as has been the case in the tri-state area where we have 18 Division I programs. I'm not counting UConn. Basically, I'm going to southern Connecticut, Fairfield County, down to central Jersey. That is a thing. Basically, Princeton and above, 18 Division I programs. So in the midweek, for a Rutgers, and then let's say for St. John's, who over the last 15 years have had a couple of at-large worthy teams, it is very difficult to raise your RPI, as Rutgers saw 2 years ago. And I say this point often, Dom, that I think 2 years ago that UConn, I think, had 41 wins. If UConn had lost the Big East Championship game to Xavier 2 year ago, I think UConn would have been left out because UConn's resume was basically just like Rutgers. They had a little bit more wins, but all their numbers were pretty even. Remember the uproar, of course, the 22 Rutgers team being left out. But I think if UConn lost there, they also would have been left out as a greater indictment of how difficult it is for northern teams to put together the resume profile to even compete with a mid-level bubble at-large Southeast or Southwest team.
Yeah, it's insanity in one word. As the 1-2's in the dirt.
And so the key
and
there is...
That's why Rutgers is playing UConn for the second straight season, as it will this weekend.
Yeah.
3-game set here at Baden Field.
I've made the argument, I thought, even going past, I thought St. John's should even be playing Big East opponents midweek.
2-2 to Jack Winsett. And it's over to third now. Everybody getting a chance. Santa Maria across the diamonds, and Rutgers infield defense in tip-top shape. Christian Aiello now, the sophomore, looking for a full inning of work as Cam Love gets his first opportunity at the plate. The senior who just made the nice play in the field and gets a hold of the first pitch, drives it down the line, but hangs up for Eric Hartman to get to. One pitch and one away. A Rutgers team that has been to the Big Ten tournament each of the last 2 seasons after never getting there in the 7 years before that, the Big Ten. 77 wins in the previous 2 seasons for Rutgers. You count what they've done so far, they've got 90 wins in, 2 1/3 years. So tons of success for the Scarlet Knights. One reason R.J. Johnson Jr. wanted to be a part of it. And gets lucky there as Shepard can't get to the popped-up bunt. But as we were just talking about, Rutgers trying to crack the NCAA code. team that has beefed up its non-conference scheduling in the last couple of years, as evidenced by what Rutgers will do this weekend. Play 3 games at home against UConn. Once again, having a solid season, even if their record doesn't reflect it, because the Huskies have played a very challenging non-con for themselves. Rutgers with a series win back in February against Old Dominion. Having a nice year. 2 games in the midweek at North Carolina. And trying to prove to the selection committee, knowing, of course, that it's got to handle its business in Big Ten play, prove that this is a high-quality program that is deserving of one of the 64 spots. As Johnson Jr. inside out ones to left field. It's going to get down for a base hit.
Yeah, high fastball there from Aiello. That dangerous for Aiello, who doesn't throw that hard. But Johnson's not a power hitter. He's still able to rocket it, though, with a hard line drive. And he is a threat here. And let's see if Rutgers will choose to run him against a soft-tossing lefty.
He's got 8 stolen bases, perfect 8 for 8, and a healthy lead at first, with Aiello staring right at him. Now Trevor Cohen singled and then stole second to start off that first inning effort for Rutgers offense. And the pitch came in on the hands, and it goes through the right side this time. Johnson will stop at second with Hartman right to it. And so 2 one-out singles for Rutgers to set up the middle of this tough order for business. Santa Maria, Kuroda Grauer, DeRocher, and Doucette to follow. 4 hitters you do not want to deal with guys on base.
And I'll add that the first pitch, it was all because of R.J. Johnson, because of the threat of the stolen base. So Aiello's first pitch, a ball outside to a lefty hitter, was kind of like a pitch out.
Santa Maria waits on it. It's tapped over to third. Winsett gets 1, and there's 2. Just what Christian Aiello needed into and out of trouble. Ryder goes around the horn, and the Mac's best defense tidies it up.
Tony, I think, got a little in front of this ball, but that's what makes Aiello an issue, because he keeps you off balance.
Good looks for Ryder. They'll get a chance at the plate. Can they break through, force some hits? We'll see as we go to the third. (13-6), coming off a weekend sweep of Delaware, and now a pair of midweek games, Ryder and then tomorrow Lafayette, before hosting UConn for a big weekend series. 2 scoreless for Jordan Falco on the bump for Rutgers, and Ryder will send 8, 9, and 1 to the plate. Joe Tiroli, their second baseman, and takes a heater at the knees. Hits the ball on a strike. Now Rutgers has collected 6 hits. Ryder, meanwhile, saw its best player get a walk in the first, and that's all to speak of. This one cracked to center, and it drives back Johnson, though he's got a beat on it. Makes the catch, a couple feet shy of the track. The hardest hit ball for Ryder today for sure. And there's one out.
The center fielder, number 8, Richie Sicca.
Now, one of the many upgrades that Rutgers has undertaken in the last couple of years is on the analytics and statistics side. We've talked about the schedule already, what Rutgers has done with Baton Field, and even beyond this, well documented too. Lights here at Baton Field, got to play under them for the home opener. Not planned just because of the rain, and Rutgers plays a bunch of weekend games under the lights this season. Also on the analytics side, this is the first year that Rutgers has access to TrackMan data, that it's got all the TrackMan hardware around its facilities. Now, in case you don't know or you think you've recognized what TrackMan is, it's the same exact system that they use in the bigs in all 30 major league organizations and throughout the minors. So it gives you all the statistics in-game that you could want. I'm not talking about home runs and situational hitting and stuff like that. I'm talking about velo, exit velo, launch angle, those sorts of things that have become part of the vernacular when we talk about Major League Baseball. Now, Rutgers has access to that now too, and on a growing list of college baseball teams that have invested in it. As Richie Sicca lifts it high in the air, left center field. Again, Johnson Jr., who can travel a ton of ground, gets there and there's 2 away. So, for example, I can tell you that the pitch that Jordan Falco just threw was at 79 miles an hour, breaking ball, and Richie Sicca hit it at 94 miles an hour.
Yep, and 356 feet as well is also accurate. Yeah, that I think it helps greatly after games to have a look at, especially I would say for a hitter. I'll be able to tell, okay, look, my guy, and it could be obvious while watching, all the coaches will know, but my hitter is struggling on anything on a fastball that is 85 miles an hour and above. That's what that'll tell me. At least the analytics will tell me that. They might see it in person too, but then you could also see, okay, well, on the slow curveballs, we're also struggling, but we're also doing well there. And then I think it helps most on the pitchers to also be able to tell, okay, again, my fastball is getting hit.
That's a fair ball. Oh, no, foul ball, pardon me, down the line. That's a 1-2.
But it's keeping up with the Joneses. Once all the SEC programs got it because they have large staffs and realize, okay, that's what pro ball is doing, and it seeps in. And I know that there is a more cost-effective, a cheaper version of TrackMan that has been available, and then there's the more expensive one that all the top Division I programs now have access to. So it continues to grow. The addition of the third assistant, just like in basketball, where the fourth assistant coach was added. So the staffs are huge. You look in the dugout. Are there more players there or more staffers there?
That's a fair question. Falco looking for another 1-2-3 inning and trying to put away Riders' leadoff hitter Matt Shepard, who flied out to right his first time.
And I think it's an ad. It's new to everybody. I think that the coaches that have had it for a long time, probably the SEC, ACC programs, they're all sticking with it because they fear that the fear might be greater than the answer. If we don't have it.
Oh, great play by Kuroda Grauer, though he only knocks it down and pops out of his mitt as he hits the turf. And that is how Rider collects its first hit of the game.
Yeah, Matt Shepard just coming back from an injury himself. He's the number 2 catcher for Rider, so that's going to feel very good for him. Shepard only 136 coming in, 3 for 22, but he was fighting a hand injury. As their starter, Brian Scatini, he is out. Very talented catcher that has been struggling with injury himself. Rider hoping to have him back this weekend against Quinnipiac, so he's getting the day off.
The shortstop, Matt Leahy, for the second time. And carries this to left. Volpe staring at it in the breeze, and he has got it to end the inning. So Riders got 2 base runners in 3 innings off Jordan Falco. A walk, a single, both with 2 outs. 3 very tidy frames. Josh Kuroda Grauer in the midst of, it's fair to call it, a breakout junior year. His first 2 seasons were really good. He was an all Big Ten guy his freshman year here. But this is day 1, day 2 drafts kind of stuff from Josh Kuroda Grauer as he gets a strike from Christian Aiello in for another inning. Aiello got the final out of the first and pitched a pretty quick second, though he had to dance around some trouble. Got a double play that helped. Josh Kuroda Grauer, though, the numbers are outrageous. You saw him to start our broadcast. 442 hitter. Tied for first in the nation with 38 hits. And launches this to left field and deep. Neareye is back. He's at the track, and there's another home run for Josh Kuroda Grauer. The dude is playing like the Big Ten player of the year, not the week. He gives Rutgers a 4-0 lead.
When I sat down and looked at the numbers, I said, for the first time preparing, I said, whoa, 442 from Kuroda Grauer. Expected him to be a good player. I was expecting, yeah, this guy's going to be the team's leading hitter, 360, 442 with power, 10 doubles coming in, more walks than times he's been struck out this season. playing in the Cape League last year. If not for an injury, Kuroda Grauer probably would get even more preseason attention because so much of the top of the college baseball world is predicated on how you also perform in the Cape and the other top collegiate baseball summer leagues. But because he was hurt and he got back as they won the Cape Cod League Championship, that's a wood bat league too. So of course all the numbers are more distorted and they're more real baseball than some of the video game baseball you see in college. But still, he's not missing anything.
Ball on 2 strikes against Pete DeRocher, who walked his first time.
You know, there are some guys that are just piling on numbers in college baseball against bad pitching. Kuroda Grauer is doing it to everybody and super efficiently. You don't use the word efficiently.
And now this is driven out over to left field, and it bounces in front of Near-Eye for DeRocher's first hit of the day.
We don't use the word efficient often in baseball, but that's what Kuroda Grauer is doing as a baseball player. It's a great basketball term, but that's what he's doing. Everything he's hitting is so heavily in the positive. He's so difficult to get out.
And now Ty Doucette, Big Ten Freshman of the Week, who has been on base in 12 straight plate appearances, including his 2-run single to start. Could this be the end of it? Sika, back, track. No, it's gone. It's a 3-run home run. Pardon me, 2-run home run. Ty Doucette is on a heater. 6-0 Rutgers.
And this is Canadian strong, Western Canada strong, hockey strong, Dom. Left-hand hitter the other way with some wind. And this was not a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that he had to crush where the pitcher's helping you. This is mainly power from the hitter to drive it out to left center field.
Ty Doucette, not a very highly recruited guy early in his high school career, now is killing it as a freshman at Rutgers. He is climbing up the Rutgers lineup, deservedly so. Doucette this past weekend hit 3 home runs. He's got 4 long balls in the span of, 5 days? Yeah, 5 days for Doucette. Now Johnny Volpe, the former Bronc, is at the plate. Homer, single, 2-run home run for Rutgers thus far in the 3rd. And fouled off by Volpe. Now, by the way, we were talking about the TrackMan data a moment ago that Rutgers has added. Can give you some of the numbers on the home runs, too. Ty Doucette, his home run, 393 feet, crushed it 102 miles an hour off his bat. And for Josh Kuroda Grauer, a guy who has destroyed some baseballs in his Rutgers career, his 3rd home run is 99 off the bat, 380 to left field. A guy who can hit him 450 and a 320 and launch both of them out of the ballpark. As Volpe gets ahead, 2 balls and a strike. Now, we were talking about Kuroda Grauer. I'll give you one more number about him that is ridiculous, and the reason why I say he's deserving of that Player of the Year conversation through a month. He is top 3 in the Big Ten in 6 different categories. Leads in hits, of course, leads the nation in hits. 2nd in everything from average to RBI to stolen bases. And 3rd in doubles. Added another one earlier today. And so Rutgers offense really churning as it gets geared up for one of the biggest weekends it has at Baton Field this year, even though it happens to come near the tail end of March.
If I had a chance to, or if the video is available, I would like to see Kuroda Grauer's outs, not his hits. I'm sure his hits are impressive. I don't need to see those. He is not a guy that is, pulling them into the 5-6 hole and beating them with speed that doesn't translate to the minors, the way some college baseball guys. I'd like to see his outs, because I bet you that a lot of them are also hit pretty well. And then that tells me how often he is squaring the ball up and being a threat. So that would be a chore. But I think it would also lead me to some remarkable conclusions because he's only struck out 6 times this year.
A 2nd in that as well, by the way, as Volpe's battling to stay alive in this at-bat. second in the Big Ten in terms of toughest to strike out. They figure that out by strikeouts and your at-bats.
Yeah, and I know it can be looked up, ground out, fly out outs, grounded outs, but I'd love to just see the clips of all the outs that he has made.
Volpe taps it over to short. He's got it on a couple of hops. And Christian Aiello trying to settle back down. You saw it was just a mound visit. They want him to get some distance in this game. And that is the first out of the third inning. And I bring up Jackson Natilli.
And Aiello's got to provide he's got to provide riders some length here of where they are. They have a day off tomorrow, so they're going to go intra-squad, while Rutgers has Lafayette tomorrow, ahead of their Yukon weekend starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Popped out to first base his first time. Natilli did. And takes that off the plate, so it's a ball and a strike to the Rutgers freshman, product of the Pittsburgh suburbs. Cuts and misses. That one.
Beautiful change up there.
Inner half of the plate that time from Aiello.
Yeah, that's probably Aiello's best pitch that he threw. That really had tremendous deception.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike three. First strikeout for any pitcher today, and it comes for Christian Aiello, giving him his second out of the third inning.
Yeah, then he comes upstairs also with a changeup. And this is where Jackson Natilli is going to learn of the different kinds of arm slots all across Division I baseball that you're going to face. And in college baseball games, you may face 5 different pitchers. If you're the starting catcher, 5 different pitchers in a game.
Cam Love swings at the first pitch once again, and this is a ball shallow into right field that Hartman makes the call on the catch on. And 3 straight outs to get Aiello out of the third. Six, 9, and 0, leading 0-1 and 0 as the Scarlet Knights are taking care of business so far against Ryder. Although here is Ryder's best hitter, Luke Lesh, drew a walk his first time. Jordan Falco, 3 effective and fairly efficient innings. This is a tough play through the middle, and it sees its way into center field. And Luke Lesh is on base for the second time today.
Yeah, Ryder last year 14-7 in the MAC, 36-21. Eye-popping when they were such a veteran team. But their top 6 hitters last year were all seniors, and they, like many other MAC programs, again, were also hurt. Graduations, and then the transfer portal, obviously, with Volpe on the other side. Brendan O'Donnell to James Madison, 14 homers, 53 RBI, and that's life in the lower rungs of Division I. It's life everywhere.
That first pitch misses the zone to Justin Costanzo, DH. It's tough to be consistent at any level, I feel like, of college athletics nowadays.
Yep. And everybody, you keep going up the food chain because here is Costanzo up from Division III. Essentially, they hope that can replace Brendan O'Donnell, who had 20 homers 2 years ago, 14 last year.
Falco's 1-1. And this is driven to left field. Volpe got a late beat on it. He's at the wall, makes the catch and pops it over the fence. It's gone. Oh, Volpe hit the fence, had it at the edge of his mitt, and it went over the wall. And Justin Costanzo, just like that, has a 2-run home run.
Well, I mentioned before Costanzo's power profile and what he did in Division III. I don't care that it's D3. If you show power in college baseball the way he did, that's his second Division I home run. This is to the opposite field. Still a deep drive. Very catchable ball, but with the wind swirling. I mean, you know, I remember Jose Canseco doing this differently. The problem is that Volpe got turned around. and it's a very unfortunate break for him. You know, maybe, you know, someday they can laugh about it, but right now it's just it's frustrating because that's a ball that needs to be caught, and in a closer game, in a Big Ten game, it stands out.
Now here's Eric Hartman as that pitch misses the zone. We talked already today about how the wind is pushing pretty fiercely right into Volpe's face, more or less. Out to left a little bit, first to third as well. In that direction, though, and you could see for a guy who we saw mostly last season at Rider at shortstop. He was their everyday shortstop the last 2 years, but did play some outfield in his time there and has played a bunch of outfield at Rutgers. You could see how that ball in the air just fooled him. It was launched off Costanzo's bat at 51 degrees, so it's a mile-high ball that could be midway to the fence on a normal day, but today, weather-wise, not an ordinary day.
Yeah, and it's actually gonna be. I haven't seen this before, but an error home run.
Yeah. Yeah, no hit given to Justin Costanzo, so he does not have his second home run. And it's a straight E7, as it was, because that's an out on an ordinary day.
Yep. Yeah, and because even though Volpe was turned around and not in position, he still got his glove on it. And that's why the error. So it's the right call. It's an unusual one. And, you know, Jordan Falco did enough to get an out. Yeah, it was very good contact by Costanzo, but one that, you know, against a Big Ten opponent, you hope gets squeezed.
And Hartman chops it foul. So one of the zaniest plays that you are going to see this college baseball season. Costanzo hits it to the fence, and it wasn't like the ball was going to end up on the warning track. It was going to hit the top of the wall if Volpe isn't there. But Volpe gives it the extra lift to get it over the left field fence, and that is how Rider plates its first 2 runs of the day. And now Hartman drives this one well, and it has Johnson turned around, but he's able to cover it up and grab the first out, and the wind really playing tricks with Rutgers outfielders now.
Wow. That was like going on a carousel in the carnival for R.J. Johnson, where he started off, you enter the carousel at the carnival, and then you go all the way around, and then you're waving to your mom, Dom, like, okay, with the first time you come. That's how far R.J. Johnson had to go. He did a full around the clock. That's how much the wind was a factor on that.
Figure 8, basically, for Johnson, who's a really good defensive center fielder. It's worth acknowledging.
No, that was impressive defense, I have to say.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why he was able to grab the ball at the end of it.
Yeah, because that was pretty special to be able to track that ball and not have to dive.
Kyle Neary punches it foul, so 0-2. Jordan Falco trying to rebound. 2 unearned runs against his record right now. After 4 quick, scoreless, 1-hit inning, or 3, pardon me, quick 1-hit innings to start this. Now we know that this neck of the woods, Baton Field, the Livingston campus that it's on here at Rutgers, I often call it the windiest place in America, knowing full well that BTN's studios are in the Windy City. Because it can be. And the wind continuing to push out to left field, although, as we always talk about with weather, both teams play in it. Falco set for a 2-2. And fouled off again.
And it just adds more to the overwhelming storyline that northern teams, northeast, northern teams, they deal with things that the southeast, the southwest college baseball powers, I think, cannot relate to. And that's what makes it so frustrating when you look at college baseball at large selections in the bigger picture, and why you're dealing with weather, you're playing way less games, that's way less reps on average.
This is a payoff pitch from Falco. And it may have been foul tipped just barely to stay alive there by Neary. Jammed him. The fastball still has some pretty good life on it. Some good velo from Falco, should note. Ran it up to about 92. He's still sitting in the low 90s. Here it comes again. And great grab by Santa Maria at third. Can he get it to first? The lean and the out. Another example of exemplary defense by the Rutgers infield. Santa Maria snags it at the hot corner, and Ty Doucette not playing first base like a freshman this year.
Yeah, I'm curious to see the stretch here from Doucette. That's a tricky area because he missed about 3 weeks with a hamstring pull from a defensive stretch that cost him some time. But Tony on this end, he just makes it look he just kind of makes it look routine, the diving play, especially going to his right with the backhand stab and then get up.
He makes it look easy, and it's not. Plain and simple. Jack Winsett now and fouls it off the other way. Steve Owens has always said you want a defense that's going to steal you some outs and win you some baseball games, and Rutgers once again this season has just that. All right, the fastball inside, so it's 2-1. You're talking about conditions up here in the Northeast. It's going to be a chillier and a little rainy weekend, unfortunately, after some of the gorgeous weather we had a week ago, where it felt like the middle of spring in the 70s. I missed his spot again, 3-1. Can't roll out of bed and get 75 and sunny every day. But a Rutgers baseball program that has the pedigree of battling through every condition imaginable to find success.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, I missed again, ball 4, right around the zone. And so 5-pitch walk to Winsett here with 2 outs.
Yeah, I think Falco thought he was squeezed a couple pitches earlier. And then that might have kind of bothered him the last 2 pitches.
He is dealing with the bottom of Ryder's order, so here's the 8-hitter, Joe Tiroli. Ryder struggled to hit as a unit. Tiroli, 179 coming in as a freshman. And swords through that one. Yeah, I mean, this is a Rutgers baseball team that was going to regionals under Fred Hill while it was playing its fall ball and winter ball in the parking lot. Put some chalk on the asphalt, grab a bag of baseballs, and here we go. And don't park by them, plain and simple. So it's that kind of pedigree that is baked into a Rutgers baseball program that as a regular at regionals in the 90s and 2000s, and now is enjoying its best success ever as a Big Ten program. A slow chopper over to third. Santa Maria's got it. Much easier grab, although Doucette does have to scoop it out on the back end. Ryder getting 2 there in the top of the 4th, and now they turn to their second reliever of the day after Christian Aiello did just enough to get out of the 3rd inning without allowing even more trouble.
Jake Doretti is very young, but he is going to be a weekend guy for this program. Just a freshman, South Jersey, Burlington Township, dealing with a blister on top of everything that the adjustment of being a Division I pitcher is, stepping in from high school, and you saw his numbers. Just 5 strikeouts in 15 innings, 14 walks, opponents hitting .349, so he has to find a way to change speeds and locate. Does not have overwhelming stuff.
R.J. Johnson Jr. bounds this over to first, and Doretti knows he's got to get over there, beats Johnson to the bag. And so a quick out for Doretti, who was sitting at 90 with a fastball to start his appearance. Now Christian Aiello gives up 3 runs in his 2 1/3 innings of work out of the bullpen. All the runs scoring on 3rd inning home runs. Solo shot by Josh Kuroda Grauer, and then Ty Doucette coming up with a 2-run blast. Now Trevor Cohen steps in and takes that curveball for strike 1. Good day for Trevor Cohen. He's accounted for 2 of the 9 hits that Rutgers has racked up thus far. Ooh, watch out. 91 to the dome and ducks out of the way. Instead, pokes it through the left side. There's another base hit. You were talking earlier, Ralph, about how this is a Rutgers program that might not lead the Big Ten in home runs this season, though it would love to, but it might have even better contact ability than the 2022 team did. I feel like I've said poked or shot through the right side or left side 3 or 4 times already. We're in the 4th inning.
And right now they're last in Big Ten in total home runs with just 18 coming in, because the rest of the Big Ten teams, they're also pounding midweek non-conference opponents and stacking numbers.
Luke Lesh has practice at this play, but won't get a chance at it this time.
But it is an offense where the way they project the top 6 guys are going to be, just like 2022, a tremendous handful to get out. And then you have some projectable guys at the bottom of the order, and it's going to be a lineup that probably is going to have a better on-base percentage. They're definitely going to steal way more bases than the 22 team. So in some ways, this ball gets away.
Skips away from Lesh. Not all that far, but plenty with this speedy team. And Trevor Cohen advances to second on the error.
Now we'll see if that's on the first baseman or the pitcher in this case. Let's see where the throw was. Hard to tell. But this team against, you can make the case that they're, I think that's an E1 throwing on the pickoff. But this team is better built to defeat quality pitching, I think, compared to the 22 team. I think there's a valid argument for that.
Pitch to Tony Santa Maria, and Duretti gets him to climb the ladder.
And I say that because they can manufacture runs better. Because of the stolen base and the higher on base, in games that could be 1-run, 4-3 type games, late season in a tournament, this team could be better prepared for that than waiting for the big inning.
Now Santa Maria drives one to center field. Sicca has it. Cohen tagging and into third base without a play. Trevor Cohen, he of 3 now, making 4 stolen bases with 1 earlier today. A single, an error, and an advancement into third base. Now talking about manufacturing a run. I know there's 2 outs now, but Rutgers has an opportunity to do just that.
Because against better pitching, you cannot expect to hit 4 home runs a game. We're talking about Big Ten tournament competition in an NCAA regional or on Friday nights against the Big Ten's Friday night starters. That's where this team could be better prepared to win those games. And here's Shepard calling time, obviously, because they've seen what Kuroda Grauer can do. I wouldn't be surprised if they walk him here, or at least go with the intentional walk.
And so far, it's a double and a home run for Kuroda Grauer, who's swinging away. Let's take one more look at how Kuroda Grauer started the bottom of the 3rd.
He's just not missing anything this year.
His on-base percentage is .500. Every other time Josh Kuroda Grauer comes to the plate, he's getting on base. Insanity. And taps this over to second base. He is retired this time after 2 extra base hits. And I can't bring in the guy from 3rd here in the 4th. He's already thrown 75 pitches, but going to face 9-1-2 as Richie Sicca bunts it foul. We'll see how much further Falco can venture. This is the first time as a Scarlet Knight he's trying to venture into the 5th.
And so far, just 2 walks from him. Came in 4 walks in 11 innings. He was pitching with the early lead. It was 3-0 before he basically broke a sweat. And there's going to be a lot of times in midweek that it'll be like that for him. I think the key for Jordan Falco is to not overthrow, because he is big and strong. And going back his path, when he went to Adelphi, I had seen him when he was like a high school junior, and I've gotten to know his father, who is a longtime high school football coach on Long Island. Of course, we know his older brother, David Falco.
Ooh, there is the first strikeout for Jordan Falco. Nasty slider darting out of the zone. Shows you 80 pitches in, Falco still got some stuff.
Yeah, that is unhittable there. For a right-hand batter that sees it tailing away from them, that's going to be a very difficult pitch, and what makes him be someone that Steve Owens has to consider out of his bullpen in Big Ten games. That high three-quarter slot, and then it's a put-away slider in that case. But he was a little bit on the slender side, but tall. His older brother David, who grad transferred from Maryland down to, is it Wake Forest?
Yeah,
Wake Forest, right?
Top 20 team.
Yep, so.
Matt Shepard loops one into center field. Johnson can't get there. Knocks it down. And so single for Shepard, the third hit Ryder has today. All of them singles.
But he was more on the slender side. Then he got to Adelphi, recruited there, I think, by Dom Scala, long time Adelphi, 2 coaches ago. As Johnson almost came up with this. Just got bigger and stronger, a little bit like his brother. And he has morphed into a guy that probably his spring of his freshman year at Adelphi, he probably looked like a Division I pitcher at that point already. But recruiting is done so early.
That was a solid career for Falco at the high school level. Center Moriches High on the island.
Yeah, smaller school, but there's so many quality travel baseball programs out there. So I'm sure he had enough people dabbling from the Division I ranks, but going to Adelphi where he would have a larger role. Great program at Northeast 10, and then once he got bigger and stronger and now, he's loose at 6'6", 215. He carries his weight well and throwing hard and to go along with a slider. Clear Division I pitcher.
Matt Leahy pops it over to second. Love grabs the pop, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, so he's kind of in between his older brother David and his father Dave Falco, who was a wide receiver at Cortland. So Division III football. So he's sort of in the middle of that. You remember Dave Falco, right? David, he was a big burly closer for Maryland and Rob Vaughn.
Yeah, part of Maryland's ascent in the Big Ten, parallel to what Rutgers has enjoyed. Here's Luke Lesh. Important at bat here for Ryder. And starts off speed to get ahead. Fools Lesh, strike 1. Heady stuff there. Well, I say that because Ryder has a chance to whittle the deficit. Lesh, we've told you, their best hitter. A single and a walk, and now the runner is going. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second is not in time. And Shepard has swiped his second base of the day. Or second base of the season.
Yeah, that strictly comes from Falco being so laser focused. He sort of forgot that there was a base runner aboard. Look at this jump. Huge jump. That's on the pitcher there.
Falco trying to set down Lesh for the first time, and he flicks this down the line. Volpe chasing, dives, and makes the catch! Oh, Superman brought it in and left! Johnny Volpe takes flight, and he robs his old teammate of extra bases. Insane stuff from Johnny Volpe. Redemption for sure, and also takes a run off the board. That drops in. It looks like it's a fair ball, and it would be 6-3 at that point. And Volpe due up third in this inning. Pete DeRocher starting it off against another new pitcher for Ryder. We knew this was going to be a bullpen day for them, but now they're starting to cycle through their arms.
And this is Christian Coombs, who is a transfer from St. Peter's, who is a left-hander, 10 innings, 5 strikeouts, 9 walks.
Coombs is the fourth pitcher for Ryder today as they begin the bottom of the 5th. Rutgers has scored 6 runs on 10 hits. A couple of home runs in the 3rd inning. Really got it going. And DeRocher ended up scoring on Ty Doucette's 2-run blast. As that one backs up over the plate, and it's strike 2.
Yeah, I like what he's bringing here from the left side. Got a lot of time at St. Peter's over 4 years. Canadian, so this wind is not going to bother him.
Yeah, lost the fastball outside. 86 miles an hour there for Coombs. Two-two. Again, off the plate. And a veteran at bat here for DeRocher to work a full count. Give Rutgers an opportunity to see Coombs a little bit.
Yeah, and again, the issue, the 9 walks over those 10 innings.
And DeRocher drives this to right. Hartman backing up. It's still tracking. It ends up on the warning track. Well, the initial reaction off the bat, not the result today because of the wind. And DeRocher retired for the first time to bring up Ty Doucette, who, if he wasn't playing on the same team as Josh Kuroda Grauer, we might call the hottest player in the Big Ten. Reached base in 13 plate appearances, although most recently it was a trip around the bases.
Special to deep left center field against a left-hander who is not a hard thrower. Now he's going to face a fellow Canadian here. But Doucette is sort of the perfect guy that will hit 5, 6, 7 because of everything that Rutgers has built in. Here's another drive.
It pulls it to right center field, and it is caught by Richie Sicca. Curling back for the center fielder to snare, and the streak is over. Ty Doucette retired for the first time since the weekend. 13 straight plate appearances. It had to end at some point, right? He's not going to go 150.
Yeah, of course. Of course. But what you also like about Doucette is so far early in his career, similar to what Trevor Cohn experienced last year, different kind of hitters too, but Doucette does not have a lot of strikeouts early in his freshman year. Just 7 strikeouts coming in 35 at-bats, 3 walks. So that is very promising for a hitter, showing that they're able to adjust to the Division I strike zone, Division I pitching. They're not fooled often. And then when you're a power hitter, it's a very promising signs for Steve Owens.
What a day it's been for Johnny Volpe. Had the miscue in left. That is a 4-base error. The very next inning makes what could be the top play tonight. 2-1. Finds the outside corner, makes it 2-2. Coombs looking for a 1-2-3 inning. And the lefty's pitch. That dives low.
And you think about the emotions that John Volpe is feeling today. This game, of course, is more significant than the others, so you know you want to show out against your ex-teammates and who are saying, oh, look at him, he grad transferred to Rutgers, from the MAC. All of that, all those storylines. But they know what he's about. Asking Coach Barry Davis about him.
It's flicked foul at the plate, stays alive.
And when they recruited him, it was upon a recommendation, as many times your fielders out there, really people that you know, high school coaches, travel ball coaches, look out for players. And it was his energy for an undersized guy that really drew Barry Davis's attention in terms of the intangibles that he would bring to a team on a daily basis when things are going rough, when you're having a flat day. He felt that John Volpe is someone that you have to have in your program. And he's been at this for 30 years as a college coach. You need John Volpes who bring energy daily. He's a true gamer. It wasn't just his skills. Yeah, he saw his skills, but he's an undersized middle infielder, maybe an outfielder, maybe a left fielder as he is right now for Rutgers, but he played mainly shortstop second at Rider during his time. But his gamer mentality and his energy on a daily basis is what truly got him sold to the Rider coaching staff.
Volpe just scrapped his way to a single, fouling off everything that Coombs could throw at him, and then punches it right back through the middle. And Volpe's on base for the first time today.
Look, he's hearing the chirping over from the Rider dugout. as they
after
should.
the catch in that last half inning.
No question. After the catch, but especially now, he has to show out. And he's showing what kind of gamer he is because he did not let a mistake mushroom over into his at-bats or other plays. Instead, John Volpe came up and made
Volpe's
big plays.
Moving on the hopper, the throw, he's out. Maybe expecting that ball to kick further from Shepard than it did, because Volpe went as soon as that ball hit the turf.
Gets up to about 92, slider in the low 80s, and expect him to be used very often, probably twice a weekend. Every weekend against Big Ten competition. Rutgers does have a little bit more in the left-hand area, but when you look at what Joe did last year, 24 appearances over 32 innings.
This is the middle third of Ryder's order. Justin Costanzo tucks it foul. Ooh, thought that was inside the bag, but Carlos Dino with a better view at it. He says foul ball. And so it's a 1-1 count against Costanzo, who plated the 2 runs back in the 4th inning on that one-of-a-kind error, or maybe twice-of-a-kind error. Fly ball to left field that could have easily been extra bases off the top of the wall, but Volpe mishandles it and knocks it over the fence. Again, to the left side, but this time it finds its way out of play.
Yeah, Mazza last year second only to Ben Gorski, who was the closer and more than just closer, long man plus closer, but second on the staff last year in appearances. Gorski 25, Mazza 24. That's how valuable he was. Opponents hit 276 against him. So far not off to the greatest start, 7.45 ERA. But he came back bigger, stronger. We'll see how it'll translate this year.
He's got some ridiculous bite on the hook. And you saw it there, so it's 2-2 against Costanzo. Runs the heater inside and looked like it clipped him. And so Costanzo will reach base on the hit by pitch. So leadoff man is aboard for Ryder for just the 2nd time.
Yeah, the pitch is thrown into the batter's box, but I like what I see, though, from Costanzo. For a Division III guy, I'm fascinated to hear more about his story and what allowed him to end up at Division III Widener in the first place. Was it a late growth spurt, the academics, early playing time of Widener? But I think he is going to be a very nice pickup for Ryder by the time the season ends, and they say, you know what, we are glad we recruited him as a Division III grad transfer. He was everything we needed for a very young team that was in a little bit of a roster rebuild.
Eric Hartman looking for his first hit. Good play by Cam Love at second. Took one away from him in his first at-bat. Ryder with those 2 runs on 3 hits. Also had a pair of walks and now the hit batter. In a ball game that looked like Rutgers could put it away before we hit the midway point. But all 6 runs for the Scarlet Knights coming in the first 3 innings. An offense that can go off for a big number at any time. But Ryder, with the help there in the 4th, has a chance. A chase and a miss for strike 3, and Joe Mazza has brought some nasty stuff to the mound once again.
Yeah, I think that is the slider there. That's usually in the low 80s. Let's see. Yep, that's the slider. Very difficult to a left-hand batter. It comes with deception. You think, okay, I can pull this ball. Then you go mid-swing to, I'm trying to just foul it off, and then you're reaching. Either way, the hitter has no shot.
Kyle Neareye gets a chance, and the freshman takes ball 1. 91 miles an hour for Mazza. Mazza pitched 3 times in Rutgers spring break trip. 8 games total for the Scarlet Knights. They went 4-4. Started by dropping 2 of 3 to High Point on the road. And then a couple of competitive midweek games, though losses to the number 17 team in the country in North Carolina. And then swept Delaware in thunderous fashion. I told you about all the numbers Rutgers offense put up. 56 runs on 64 hits at UDEL in 3 games. Mazza had some struggles on the Mid-Atlantic swing, and so trying to straighten it out as he misses that just below the knees. And now a hitter's count for Nearai. Mazza did pick up a win in the Friday game at UDEL. Did give up 3 runs in an inning and a third against North Carolina, though. And games, again, that Rutgers had opportunities to win. Led in the 7th inning of one game. Were within a run in the late innings in the other game. Obviously, you want the W's, but encouraging signs as Rutgers gets another crack at a good team this weekend. Now, before the payoff, check on Costanzo at first, who has not stolen a base yet this year. Three-two. Left in the air, center field. Johnson out now, in, charging hard and can't get there. And it drops in. Costanzo held, so he's only at second. It's going to go down as a single for Kyle Nearai. And the latest example that the wind is tricky for Rutgers outfielders.
Yeah, severely wind-aided. Remember the ball R.J. Johnson caught. That was an adventure. This is off the end of the bat. His first break, because he sees the swing, is to deep right center. And then by the time he realizes where the ball is landing, it's too late. And that's a very difficult thing to coach and correct. It's a hard thing to practice, too.
How Jack Wynn said. And a game where Ryder, it looked like, was going to be done very quickly. It now has the tying run waiting on deck. Bottom third of Ryder's order trying to produce as Winsett fouls it off. Yeah, and quickly 0-2.
Yeah, even though the Bronx were swept over the weekend at St. John's, you look, they did some good things. Saturday they had the tying run thrown out at the plate. They trailed 10-7 going into the 9th. Lost that game 10-9. The second game I think was 12-9, but the problem was their pitching.
Tap to third. This should be 2. Santa Maria steps on third, throws across, and once again Doucette helps him out on the back end. A 5-3 double play, and Joe Mazza picked up in the 6th. Now Scarlet Knights leading 6-2 into the bottom of the 6th inning. Freshman Jackson Attili leading off against Ryder reliever Christian Coombs in his 2nd inning of work. Dom Savino with Ralph Bednarchik and the rest of our Rutgers Big Ten Plus crew. Glad you can join us if you're just getting out of work or with us from pitch number 1. As the Tilly will be safe at first. Oh, Lesh mishandled it at the base. And that is how Natili is on for the first time today. First error by Ryder.
Second baseman number 2.
And Ryder to this point has been outstanding with a .976 fielding percentage. That has been among their strengths this year. And that is a really tough one, particularly for a senior where, Lesh has to have a great year. But against this Rutgers lineup, giving away free bases is a big no-no.
Now Cam Love, back pick. Tilly back in, though it was close. Rutgers has gotten crafty this year. We've told you about their team speed, leading the Big Ten in swipes. Now Rutgers today has stolen once. Third baseman is in. Love swinging away and powers this to the gap and misplayed by Nearai, so it skips over the wall for a ground rule double. Kyle Nearai took the wrong route to that one. He knew it immediately Cam Love, as a result, has a ground rule double. And with Ryder threatening a moment ago, all of a sudden Rutgers has a chance to bust this game open.
Yeah, Neareye, a redshirt freshman. Love hits it well, but Neareye just took a little bit of the wrong angle. He went straight across rather than kind of diagonally where he can meet the ball as it lands down. Still would have been a very difficult play.
So can Rutgers punish the mistakes? Top of their order at the plate. R.J. Johnson Jr. the first one, and takes strike one.
Yeah, and this Rutgers offense, if you give them, it goes without saying, but if you give quality teams, top 25, top 50 teams that are loaded in their lineup, free bases, they're going to punish you. And this is what Rutgers has been doing against midweek teams in particular. Under Steve Owens the last 3 years, where they pile up runs and they have explosions.
Johnson Jr. just fouled down the line. I think back especially to 2022, I think I would need more than two hands to count the amount of a lot to a little midweek games that Rutgers played in. 18-1, 15-3 kind of scores.
And a lot of those were also, like, 80% of the scoring was like in 2 innings.
Yeah. Missed off the plate, so it's 2-2.
Runs are runs, Dom, but when it's 8 runs here, 6 runs there, and the rest of them they go quietly because the game is sort of over. That's what this Rutgers team is also very capable of.
Oh, we got hit. Fastball from Coombs ran in. Johnson wore it, and now the bases are loaded. And there are nobody out here. There is nobody out in the bottom of the 6th. Rutgers with a prime opportunity for this offense to flex its muscle.
Yeah, that's well inside to the batter's box. So Johnson's just going to take the punishment, and now you have the next 3 batters are all lined up to be first-team All-Big Ten possibility.
Trevor Cohen 3 for 3, 3 singles. And now ball 1. Coombs worked what ended up being a 1-2-3 5th inning. Only blemish was the 2-out single from Volpe, but he was erased trying to advance on what he thought was a wild pitch. Instead, in his 6th inning, error, ground rule double, what could have been only a single, and now a hit by pitch. And now a 2-0 count with no room for Cohen on the bases. Casey Aubin in his first season as Ryder's pitching coach, coming over from Southern New Hampshire, where he was the coach there for 2 years. Now meeting over, first pitch swinging, could be 2. Leahy to second for 1. Pickett first, double play, although the run scores in Tilly. Ryder very happy to complete that equation. They'll sacrifice the run to get the 2 outs.
And that lesson from Aubin could have long-lasting effects to a young Ryder pitching staff. Look, yeah, we know Trevor Cohen is a major hitter, but they're not, 390. He's coming in 393.
Now Tony Santa Maria, and that just misses the zone.
But they're human. Even if it's 2-0 against you, and if you hit your spots, good things can happen. So many times, Dom, you and I are on these kinds of games, and the young or even the experienced but midweek non-conference pitcher that may not have the profile, that's not a Big Ten recruit, they give the hitters too much credit and nibble there.
Santa Maria jacks one into left center and deep. Sika still going back, dives. Did he make the catch? No. It bounced over. It's a ground rule double. Second time in 3 innings. Now Rutgers has had that kind of play, and this time for the second time in the 6th, Rutgers has a ground rule double.
Yeah, belt-high fastball, and Tony does not miss. Long way to go for Sika.
Now Cam Love scores from third. Tony Santa Maria collects another RBI. That is his 26th. And now Josh Kuroda Grauer sends this to the other gap, but it hangs for Hartman and ends the inning. Joe Tiroli will start it off for Ryder in the 7th inning. Joe Mazza in for his 2nd inning of relief work for Rutgers, which has had 3 big innings. Scored 3 in the first, 3 more in the 3rd, and then played 2 in the 6th inning as the Scarlet Knights try to continue their winning streak, looking for 4 in a row. Got the sweep against Delaware and taking care of business against Ryder. Now Joe Tiroli trying to get on base for the first time. Riders cobbled together a couple of things, lifted to 2 runs on 1 costly Rutgers error. But what a swing that 6th inning was. I mentioned it at the start of the frame. Ryder with a chance to break through for some runs. Double play squashes that. Rutgers on the other end with some help from Ryder's defense. Scores 2. Mazza's ahead, 0-2. Looks for the back foot. Did Tiroli offer? Yes, he did. And Tilly chucks it down to first for the 2nd strikeout of Mazza's day. Another nasty back foot breaker from the southpaw.
And I'll add to your point, Dob, as we'll see the strikeout here in the turf. Yeah, actually, I think that, yeah, he definitely went around. Anyway, no holdup, but also the catch by John Volpe, because there was a runner on base in the 5th inning that ended the inning as well. Could be 6-3 very easily, if not for an out-of-body experience for Volpe making the catch.
Yeah, 6-3 with a guy at second base at the very least at that point, too. Lesh would have easily had extra bases.
Right, with Costanzo up next, you never know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, he said this is not an ordinary 2-13 Ryder team, and yes, I'll acknowledge 2-13 is not a good record. Barry Davis will acknowledge that, their head coach, but Ryder staring at what could be a 5-game losing streak. The win before the losing streak was against Duke. Go figure. At Duke, by the way. As Richie Sika takes out of the zone, and it's 2-1.
And it's a program that's experienced winning, 36-21 last year, to go to the NCAA tournament. It's become next to Fairfield and Canisius, the steadiest programs in the MAC.
That's part of the reason why Rutgers has the Bronx on its schedule once again. 76th meeting between these two teams. It was a 4-2 win last year for Rutgers. And a 3-1. Chase and a miss, and Ryder really fooled by the stuff knee height and below. Here's the payoff. And he climbs the ladder for strike 3. Now what a difference 2 strikeouts can make. Back foot, top shelf. And a couple of punch outs to start the 7th for Mazza.
Yeah, Mazza's probably throwing a mile per hour or 2 harder this year. Better slider, more velocity to build off of that. And question is, will he be able to do that twice on a weekend against Big Ten competition? It's a hard thing to do to be a reliever. Your stuff on Friday, after you're well rested, may not look the same as it is on Sunday.
That one cut on by Shepard and chopped over to short. Kuroda Grauer sends it over. And all of a sudden, it's a 1-2-3 inning for Joe Mazza. To include the double play to end the 6th, he's retired 4 in a row. He's picked up 5 consecutive outs without allowing a runner. He's got a website?
Yeah, he does, and part of his dissertation was essentially the theme of his thesis. As we see the pop-up here.
Yeah, this is Pete DeRocher popping it to center, and he's retired one away.
And the theme of his thesis was, how do coaches rebuild or how to turn programs around? And Steve Owens, his longtime friend, was one of 9 coaches Dr. Barry Davis interviewed in person, jotting down all the notes, recording it, and to put together his project there. Owens was one. It was basically 8 baseball coaches. Another guy I know very well, Ed Blankmeyer, retired coach at St. John's. Plenty of time to do that for Coach Blankmeyer. And Sherry Cole, just retired Oklahoma women's basketball coach. And basically his thought was he's always wanted to pursue his PhD going back to when he was in his 20s.
That's chopped over to first. Tie-do set. Should make it easy work for Luke Lesh. And now 2 quick outs for Gavin Hawks, by the way, the sophomore right-hander, the new pitcher for Ryder.
And because he knows one day coaching is going to come to an end. Coaching is a crazy tough business. You don't know when you're going to get let go, and he still feels he has so much to give back in that way to mentor young people and young coaches. And he just loves the idea of learning and to growing and improving. And Steve Owens, it's going to be about a 3 to 4 page paper of Steve Owens' path of how to turn programs around, and Owens is going to talk about that with turning Rutgers around and, of course, building the Bryant program over time. So I'm looking forward to checking it out as soon as this game is done, Dom. And but I think it's fascinating. He's quite the visionary for who he interviewed, and he felt he learned a lot from it too. That he is still kind of experimenting a little bit in kind of how he recruits, how he handles things from his so-called wild coaching sabbatical about how to become a better coach is what Dr. Barry Davis took from it. So I was tremendously enlightened. It's too bad the game had to start because there was
the game got in the way.
Yeah, the game got in the way because there were so many fascinating things about it. So I definitely look forward to run into him in the future.
Well, Barry Davis's sophomore righty who's trying to get some work is a pitch away from a 1-2-3 inning. John Volpe at the plate, 1 for 3 against his old team. Probably picked up some life and sports lessons from Dr. Davis in his 4 years down in Lawrenceville. It's chopped to third, but foul. Pretty remarkable, though, that for a guy who's been a head coach for a quarter century, this is literally the case for Barry Davis, and true for Steve Owens, too. Still learning something new, 25 years in.
And look, they come from a different generation because they became head coaches at a much younger age than coaches today generally do.
Now back then, you start low and you try to build your way up rather than assisting at a bunch of spots.
Yeah, as a head coach, because now, you're not even going to see Barry Davis. That pitch is just off the plate. But Barry Davis got the job. He wanted to be a coach even going back to when he was 18. He was a junior college head coach at the age of 24. Just doesn't happen today.
No, it doesn't at all. 1-2-3 inning for Gavin Hawks. Works his way through the middle of Rutgers' order. And we're on to the 8th. We're learning something new every day. Dr. Davis giving us a couple lessons.
And now he wants to be a CPA and spending his 5th year here closer to home from Old Bridge. But I see him as a guy that's going to be a long man out of the Rutgers bullpen with his experience. And 2 years removed off of Tommy John, that's always the key. Just like the torn ACL, the 2nd year off of that.
Fauci's got the stuff. Fastball pops the mid at 93 miles an hour. And Matt Leahy quickly finds himself in a 1-1 spot. Oh, pardon me, we have a pinch hitter. Yep, good catch by our crew. Anthony Pascal is in there. 22 rather than 2. And did not go around there, so it's 2 balls and a strike to Pascal, who's batting in Matt Leahy's spot. The shortstop. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some more of these swaps as the final 2 innings are played out with Rutgers comfortably in front now. Pitch, there's a strike, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes after the check swing. Luke Lesh, Justin Costanzo due to the plate after this. All heaters, and now it's a 3-2 count, and that time Fauci runs it up to 94.
Yeah, fastball, curve, and then the cutter is the pitch that Sonny learned more recently in his career. And his pitching coach and travel ball, interesting guy, the Mark Leiter.
Good person to learn from.
Yep.
Here's a payoff. Popped on the infields. Josh Kuroda Grauer's got it. Yes, he does. 1 away.
There's Mark Leiter Jr., the son, who's somewhere in the major leagues, but then there was Al Leiter, his lesser-known brother, Mark Leiter, who is a right-hander who eventually pitched for the Phillies. And that Mark Leiter is now involved in the Central Jersey area, of course, as a travel ball coach and personal pitching coach.
Truly a family of pitchers that is on to its 2nd generation, as you mentioned. Jack gets a ton of headlines, too. Del Barton product. Strike. Luke Lesh still in the lineup. Lefty has gotten on 2 out of 3 times today. Singled and scored a run in the 1-run-producing inning for the Bronx. That was the 4th. I think it's the first breaking ball we've seen from Fauci. 75-mile-an-hour curve. The pitch. Then there. And it's 1-2. Fauci had a great start to the season. You noticed his ERA was up in the 6s. It was 1.69 as of a week or 2 ago. Had a couple rough starts, rough outings in the spring break trip. As 95 miles an hour beats Lesh's bat. Hey, bookmark that. Might see Fauci on some weekends here. 2 away.
Yeah, no doubt. It's also because he's got experience, and then if he's going to throw 95 a couple times in an inning, this is why he is a candidate for weekends to be in the 5th through 7th innings.
Now Justin Costanzo launches the first pitch high in the air, left field. Volpe loses the cap, finds the ball. In the end, popped out of there, but he grabbed it with his right hand, makes it a sure bet, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Fauci.
And he might be the closest thing for Ryder that's going to be their closer. And amidst all of the different personnel that Ryder graduated, they also graduated their closer last year, Danny Kerwin, who was very good. 14 saves last year with a 2.32 because McNeely has a big fastball, 4 1/3, 6 strikeouts, 6 walks. Opponents hitting .316. And he threw well against St. John's. Red Storm coaching staff were impressed with his arm. He just has to put it together. But he's the leader in the clubhouse right now, so this is his chance here against top competition.
There's a strike. McNeely's been looking for one with that sharp slider and finds it. 2-1 to Jackson Natili, who is hitless today in 3 trips, but did get on with an error in the 6th, where Rutgers got some insurance runs on the board. And the freshman takes ball 3. They said he offered there, so 2-2 the count. Yeah, 2 balls, 2 strikes here against Natili. And fastball's fouled back. Now these are 2 programs, as Ralph has chronicled, in very different positions. A Ryder team that lost a lot from last year's conference championship and impressive run at their NCAA regional. Now Rutgers, meanwhile, a team that is in the midst of its best 2-season stretch as a Big Ten member, and now looking for the latest breakthrough, the biggest breakthrough. It's gotten to the Big Ten tournament, made it to the championship game 2 years ago, now looking for a regional. Another 2-2. Outside corner, strike 3. Good spot there for Colby McNeely, who has the slider, has the secondary pitch to make him a closer on a team like this.
Yeah, when you see him just through one batter, it's clear that McNeely is a top candidate for that, but he's got to put it together and pitch in pressure situations without walking folks, but he also has the stuff to get himself out of jams.
Everybody in the Rutgers lineup has gotten on base today. Cam Love did it with a ground rule double in the 6th. Scored one of those runs in that frame as well.
And Love is like such a kind of perfect number 9 batter on a stacked lineup because you can do the double leadoff with him. And he's gotten on base at a much higher level this year. 424 on base, as I noticed looking, doing my prep ahead of this game, and that was something for Love. 279 last year, but nice player. Some pop this year, a little bit more pop. 344 on base last year, so he has expanded those numbers and he's stealing more. It's just one less guy that is, in terms of Big Ten competition, like an easier out when you're the other coach.
3-1, and he slaps this to left center. Fielding gets down for a base hit. Sika on his heels. Love will capitalize and take 2. So the ball ends up 20 feet shy of the fence. It's cut off before it can get there, but even still, Cam Love with a very easy double, his second of the day.
Yeah, Sika, I think, perhaps even took it for Love was maybe just going to take a single there. Sika's got to get to this ball. Let's watch Sika in center field. You got to be thinking, okay, I've got to get this ball back in because this runner is fast.
He tries to as quick as he can.
You know what he does? It's the second hop. He had to go a long way for it. But Love basically had a double while only having to really run to first. And then he can jog to second.
R.J. Johnson has a single and a hit by pitch to his name. And looking to knock in one more. Under his hands, it's 1-1. You mentioned on base percentage, Ralph. I'll give you this, just another way to give you a snapshot of how productive Rutgers offense has been through the first month of the college baseball season. All 9 guys in the lineup today have on base percentages higher than 400. As Johnson powers this to center, Sika on his horses, looking at it, and it's Nearai who cuts over and makes the play. And Nearai ran a mile to get there, but may have had a better jump. Looks like he's got better speed, too, and came into the picture in what was center-ish left center to make the catch.
Yeah, Sika is just coming back from injury. He's already shaded to left center. They watch, you're going to see Sika flying in from the left side of your picture and still get there. That is strong defending.
Even though Rider's defense at points has not handled itself like it, it is the best defense in the MAC, fielding percentage-wise. And now Trevor Cohen trying to polish off another big day. Already has 3 hits, 3 singles, scored a run. Let's see if he can knock in Cam Love from second. Slider bites inside to make it 2-0. Cohen, a guy who was good last year and is great this year. 7th in the conference in batting average. As he just clips it, it sits for McNeely, and he makes the play. Awkward hop on that little tapper, but Colby McNeely able to take care of it. Rutgers looking to lock it down at home once again. Scarlet Knights got a win in their home opener 2 weeks ago against Wagner, and Sonny Fauci trying to get another game-ending outing in the books as he starts off Eric Hartman with strike one. Hartman and Kyle Neary and Jack Winsett due up for the Bronx. In a ball game where Rutgers plated 3 in the first inning and really never looked back. And chopped over to first. Love scoots over. Heady play there by Ty Doucette. Flinched towards second, made the right read back to first. Little things that freshmen pick up as their debut season goes on. There's one away. Now, we told you that Rutgers is in the midst of a jam-packed part of its season. 8 games in a week and a half during spring break, and now back-to-back midweeks to set them up for arguably their biggest weekend of the season, in the non-conference, that is. Curveball has Neary way out in front, strike one. So tomorrow, Rutgers plays Lafayette back here at home at Baton Field, and back here with us on Big Ten Plus, 3 o'clock first pitch. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's UConn, a team that is 19th in the RPI at the start of play today. Not ranked because their record isn't great, but a team that has played a really tough schedule so far.
Oh, fantastic. First time looking at Jim Pender's schedule, what he's done, and I am thoroughly impressed with how he has handled it. I'll detail that in a moment.
0-2. Chase and a miss. And strike 3. And second strikeout for Sonny Fauci.
First of all, UConn has played. They opened up the season against Louisville and Tampa, and out South Florida won both of those games. 3-game trip at Cal, Pac-12 team, good RPI. Won 1 out of 3 at Auburn. Swept at UC Santa Barbara. True road win at UCLA. At Irvine, took 2 out of 3 at Cal Baptist. And then to schedule Rutgers, that is as perfect as you can get for a Northeast team to put together an at-large possible schedule. Because I think he might have been scared 2 years ago that if UConn didn't win, they would have been left home like Rutgers.
Jack Winsett, last hope for Ryder, and it's 1-1.
But that's controlling the controllables. Otherwise, he's sprinkled in Columbia. He's got Bryant, which has been good in America East. So is Maine, kind of 1 games, long trips. And then also impressively, I love this, they're playing Boston College home and home.
Corner, strike 2.
And I wish we saw teams do that more. Like in Rutgers' case, because their series against Maryland this year is in early May. Why not play Maryland in a non-conference game to beef up your midweeks,
right?
You know, to ramp that up. And then another spectacular thing that UConn is doing at the end of the year, May 14th, they'll play at Cincinnati before they play at Butler.
Here's the 1-2. And spiked by Fauci.
And so that is just not accepting what we in the outside world might think is the reality, that it's going to be very difficult for Northeast teams to get at-large berths. But he is truly maximizing and doing everything possible to give UConn a chance.
Wasted the other way, foul by Winsett. Now, UConn's strength of schedule is 8. Rutgers, meanwhile, for the Scarlet Knights fans who are wondering, Rutgers RPI 32 right now. The series win at Old Dominion stands out as the best victories. Trip to top 20 North Carolina, so quality opponents sprinkled in for the Scarlet Knights. Fauci looking for the final strike and spikes it to run the count full.
And the key is, unfortunately, in the North and Northeast, as Steve Owens has had to learn, and Jim Penders, you have to cut out the fat, and that's difficult because you want to play
Easier
everybody.
said than done.
Yeah, you want to play all the locals because you should be doing that.
Yeah, it's a good point. Well, now the count is full, 3-2. And Fauci deals and missed with 95 outside.
And that's why I think, unfortunately, you have to make those difficult decisions the way Penders and I think Steve Owens have to, where, you know what, I could see a day in the future where Rutgers could go home and home with Seton Hall, home and home with St. John's. Maybe you do a non-conference game with Maryland because it's drivable all in one day. And you have to tell everybody else, look, we simply can't have sub 220, even sub 175 RPI teams from the previous year. on our non-conference schedule because it really brings us down.
Now Joe Tiroli, and he smacks the breaking ball into deep center field. Johnson back at the warning track, makes the catch, and the ball game is over. Rutgers once again home and taking care of business. The Scarlet Knights lead it wire to wire and win this one over Rider at a final of 8-2, and it's 4 straight victories for Rutgers.